What's going on, everybody? Rob Pizzo back with a very special Athletics North treat. Yes, we've got our certified track nerd in Morgan Campbell, but we also have a world champion, an Olympian, and national record holder. And if I went through her whole resume, we'd be here all day. Perdita Felicien. And the reason it's a special treat, a world exclusive, in case you don't know, they're married. And this is the first time they've been on the air together.
Ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excited? Or is this like, are we gonna see some like fights about who didn't do the dishes at home?
Did you have to do the dishwasher?
No.
I've only get one side of the story when he comes in every week, so now it's
Now
good
here.
to get the other side, but maybe we'll save that for another time because we had quite a few countries having their national championships this weekend, but it seemed like so many eyes, as they have been all year, on Sha'Carri Richardson. Surprise, surprise, guys. She puts on an absolute show, sets a meet record and a personal best in the heats, and then right before the finals, flair for the dramatic, when the camera's right there, she rips off her wig and says, it's go time, and wins the 100-meter. Your thoughts on Shikari, Perdita, because we've talked about her quite a bit, and she knows how to, when the spotlight's on, what to do.
Yeah, look, I've changed my hair before track meets. Never that quickly,
Yeah.
never that soon. But I think for her, honestly, like it was symbolism.
Yeah.
She said the last time that I was on this track, I went through a lot. She had that fiery red hair. She took it off and it was like, I am a new person. So I think with Sha'Carri, she's a very polarizing person. I feel like you either love Sha'Carri or to quote the Jamaicans, you can't stand her. You can't stand her at all. And for me, I think she needed to do this. She needed to put one down. She needed to make a team, and she needed to win. And I'm a fan of her, I'll be honest. I'm happy for her. I'm really happy for her. I wish she'd calm down a little bit, but it was great to see that.
What's impressive about Sha'Carri is like throughout the course of this whole track meet now, she ran 6 rounds, 3 rounds of the 100, 3 rounds of the 200. Now, if I want to nitpick, I'm gonna say, well, she ran the early rounds of each of those races too fast, and she didn't improve her time like from the finals relative to the first round. But at the same time, for someone like her who like, and again is nitpicking, in the context of world-class track and field, in the context of her skill set, is she a 200-meter runner? Not really, she just happens to be great at it. She's a 100-meter runner. You see what I'm saying? And the fact that she made the team in the event that's not even really her event. And the fact that when you look at the trajectories of her seasons, for the most part, she tends to peak like early June. And now she's, I don't know if she's peaked at Nationals, but she's performing well at Nationals. And she might even run faster. Like, this is all the types of things that we wondered if she could get over, and she has.
And she's done it, like I said, with the big spotlight on her. I've got to jump from Eugene to Jamaica for a second.
Yeah.
Not because of your accent, but because Sharika Jackson winning the 100 in Jamaica, not a surprise. The 10.65 opened a lot of eyes there. How big is that heading into the Worlds now when you've got these two doing what they do, and what kind of, head-to-head showdown we're going to see in Budapest?
Anytime Sharika Jackson runs a very fast time, like we've been seeing her on the scene long enough not to be surprised when she runs a 10.7 low and now 10.6, which I think 10.65 was that a PB for her?
5th best time
Ever.
all time.
Yes, but we've
Yeah.
seen enough of these times from her, like not to be surprised. And what it sets up for me is Sharika, Sha'Carri. Also, there might be somebody who we haven't seen yet who's like not like Julian Alfred from St. Lucia, NCAA champion, runs in the 10.7s. Like if she has another breakthrough, again, we could be in the situation where you might run 10.72 and be in 4th place.
All right, let's shift gears to the men's 100. And a lot of big names there. You got Noah Lyles, you got Christian Coleman. But we were doing the Charleston in Oregon. Yes, terrible joke aside. I knew I'd get you to laugh there. Bit of a surprise in the 100. I mean, I know I've heard a lot of people talk about him, but I don't think too many people thought we'd be sitting here talking about him winning this race.
No, he's been sort of quietly putting together like a really solid season. But again, like in the United States where there's so much high-level depth, you don't think that a guy that runs 9.95 is necessarily going to win the championship. I mean, 2 things going in his favor was that Fred Curley was not running, and that Noah Lyles apparently had COVID last week. And got cleared on Monday, and so he left a few tenths of a second on the table in his recovery from COVID.
In bed, you mean?
Yeah.
One of the things I love about Crayvon Charleston is just what he wears. The old school singlet with the tank top with the T-back, and he wears the old school high cut side split shorts, which hardly anybody does anymore, but I think it's scientifically proven that the side split shorts make you faster.
Yeah. He doesn't have a sponsor, and he's also coached by a hurdler, like Olympic champion Alan Johnson. Like, that's my era back in the day. So what Alan said after the race is, finally, meaning he's always been knocking on the door. He's always had this potential, but he's had a lot of hamstring issues, a lot of like foot injuries. He's never been able to put it together. And I don't know if anyone remembers, but his post-race interview, he seemed so shell-shocked. He seemed like, Noah Lyles has the sound bites and the rest of them have the sound bites. And he was just like, oh, the light's on me all of a sudden. It was so endearing. It was so nice to see. What I love about the sport of track and field is it gives everybody a shot. Everybody has a chance. Like, there's no respecter of your title and your name. Like, everybody can win and anybody can be beaten.
You mentioned hurdlers. You know a little bit about that. I'm pretty sure. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, we've been talking about her all year, making the switch from the hurdles to the 400 flat. And man, you talk about it putting on a performance here. Just cruises to a win, 48.74. She's done everything in the hurdle world. And I remember asking Morgan, do you think she was just bored with breaking her own world records and she needed a new challenge? Your thoughts on what we saw this weekend?
Listen, the American record is in trouble. Like, I think how many more days? 30-something days till it goes down in Budapest. I think she'll do that. Also, the other thing too is, for me, she is coached by Bob Kersey. And he's a legendary coach. He's coached so many Olympic champions, so many world champions. And the thing about him, he is always tinkering. He's always finding a way. Sydney used to run, I guess, the 60 hurdles indoors, and all people in track and field like, what is she doing? She's getting blasted. She was losing. But he knew that if he could work on her rhythm in their sprint hurdles, then when she goes outside, it's just gonna help her. Here, I really think he has even more in the tank for her. But the thing is, she's still learning the race. And I feel like the world record, when I talk about that, can I say that it's kind of a little, asterisk beside that world record? But I would love to see someone like Sydney McLaughlin get it and put it down so there's no longer that asterisk, thinking about that drug era and that 6.
We got to finish on this, guys. Kenneth Rooks. I don't know if you guys had ever really heard much about him going into these world championships. A BYU student taking on all the professionals in the 3,000 meter steeplechase. False. And I don't know what cliche you want to use here. When you fall, it's how you get back on the horse or whatever. Or fall, get down. He gets up and wins the race, beating all of these professionals. And yeah, that's the face you make when you cross the finish line. You guys were watching this. What words came out of your mouth when you saw him come down the home stretch and win this race?
Okay, so he rolled, okay? Like, he
It
fell
was a
and
fall.
he rolled, and he was like dead last. And I was like, wait, what just happened? But the thing is, the announcers had not said his name at all until he fell. Then they said his name. And then he made them say his name again when he won. I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, if you're gonna fall, he fell the way you should fall, rolling in the same direction you run, and it's a little bit easier to get back up and keep going. Exactly.
Momentum.
You get that little advantage over inertia. And the other thing about falling is that it automatically makes you the favorite of every viewer because they all want to see you come back and win.
I heard the Rocky music in my head when I saw it. You're an underdog, right?
And so that makes all the other runners by default like the villain. And what did they do? They didn't do anything to deserve this, but
Suffer?
it doesn't matter.
Can I ask something? Okay, if he didn't fall, would he have won?
Probably. But
Making us all
really?
think like the tree falling in the forest. Do you hear
but
it?
I'm thinking like the adrenaline, the hunger, the desperation,
Nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Would he have clawed back that heart? I don't know. He would have made the team, but would he have won? I don't know.
But that's the fun thing about sports. It's not all about the physical thing. It's a mental thing.
Yeah,
Maybe you're
but
right. Maybe you
also-
kind of thought, this is it.
Yeah, this is it for me.
Yeah, but I mean, would you recommend falling in every steeplechase race? Like, you wouldn't.
Why
You know what I
not?
mean? You
Try
can,
it.
You can only you can only
Morgan coming in
recommend
here with his logic. Come
the
on,
stuff that's
Morgan.
repeatable.
I think it was a mix of youthful exuberance, a little bit of ignorance, and a
Yes.
little bit of, you know what, I've got nothing to lose,
Yeah.
Why not?
and what a story it was. And remember, guys, the American National Championships in the books now. Canadian ones start July 27th, Langley, BC, and obviously we're going to keep you covered there. Guys, thanks for both coming in and doing this. This was fun.
Anytime you can get Perdita up out of bed before 9:30 a.m.,
Wow.
you know it's a big deal.
Really, Morgan? Wow. It is a big deal.
I don't like it when mom and dad fight.